Welcome to Wisdom Trek with Gramps. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, and we are on day 2753 of our trek. The purpose of Wisdom Trek is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, and to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. The title for today's Wisdom Trek is The King's Mirror, a Manifesto of Integrity. Today, we stand at the threshold of a new royal chamber as we explore Psalm 101, covering the entire psalm, verses 1 through 8 in the New Living Translation. In our previous trek through Psalm 100, we experienced the joyful noise of the Thanksgiving procession. We learned how to enter His gates with thanksgiving and go into His courts with praise. It was a psalm about the people of God approaching the presence of God, acknowledging that He is good, His love is eternal, and His faithfulness lasts forever. It was the liturgy of entry. But Psalm 101 asks a follow-up question that is much more searching. Once you are inside the gates, how do you live? This psalm is often called the Mirror for Magistrates or the King's Mirror. It is written by David, and it is a personal manifesto of integrity. If Psalm 100 is about the public worship of God, Psalm 101 is about the private discipline of a leader. It connects deeply to the royal psalms we have been studying because, in the ancient Israelite worldview, the earthly king was supposed to be the visible representative of the invisible God. If Yahweh reigns with righteousness and justice, as we saw in Psalm 97, then David's throne must be established on the same foundation. This psalm is David's vow to create a court, a home, and a city that mirrors the holiness of the divine council. It is a psalm of severe cleaning, purging the influence of chaos and evil from the heart of the kingdom. So, let us look into this mirror and see if our own house reflects the king's standard. The first segment is the vow of the private heart. Psalm 101, verses 1 through 2. I will sing of your love and justice, Lord. I will praise you with songs. I will be careful to live a blameless life. When will you come to help me? I will lead a life of integrity in my own home. David begins his manifesto by setting his tuning fork to the character of God. I will sing of your love and justice, Lord. I will praise you with songs. Notice the two attributes he chooses: love hesed, unfailing, loyal love, and justice mishpat. These are the twin pillars of Yahweh's reign that we saw in Psalm 89 and Psalm 97. Before David can rule others, he must immerse himself in the nature of the God he represents. He sings about them to internalize them. A leader who does not sing of God's justice will soon become a tyrant. A leader who does not sing of God's love will soon become a legalist. From this worship comes a solemn vow. I will be careful to live a blameless life. I will lead a life of integrity in my own home. The phrase, live a blameless life, literally means to walk in the way of integrity, tamim, wholeness, completeness. But notice where this integrity starts. It doesn't start on the public stage or at the city gate. It starts in my own home, literally, in the midst of my house. David understands that public authority relies on private purity. If there is chaos in the king's house, there will be chaos in the kingdom. Embedded in this vow is a poignant question. When will you come to help me? This seems like an interruption, but it is the key to the whole psalm. David is likely referring to the Ark of the Covenant. He wants the presence of God to dwell with him in Jerusalem, in his palace, and in the city. But he knows, from the theology of the divine council, that a holy God cannot dwell with iniquity. Yahweh sits enthroned between the cherubim, Psalm 99. If David wants God to come to him, David must prepare a place that is compatible with God's holiness. He is cleaning house so that the guest of honor will feel at home. The second segment is the gatekeeper of the senses. Psalm 101, verses 3 through 4. I will refuse to look at anything vile and vulgar. I hate all who deal crookedly. I will have nothing to do with them. I will reject perverse ideas and stay away from every evil. Now, David moves from his general vow to specific boundaries. He establishes himself as the gatekeeper of his own soul. I will refuse to look at anything vile and vulgar. The Hebrew here is powerful. I will not set before my eyes a matter of Belial. Belial is a term often used in the Old Testament for worthlessness, but in the ancient Israelite worldview, it carried a darker connotation. It was associated with the forces of chaos, the underworld, and the anti-divine order. By saying he will not look at a thing of Belial, David is refusing to entertain the chaos that Yahweh defeated. He will not let visual garbage enter the eye gate of his soul. He refuses to be fascinated by evil. I hate all who deal crookedly. I will have nothing to do with them. The word crookedly refers to swerving or deviating from the straight path. It implies apostasy, turning away from Yahweh to follow the lesser, rebel gods, or human idols. David says this behavior will not cleave to him. Evil is sticky. If you handle it, it clings. David vows to keep his hands clean. I will reject perverse ideas and stay away from every evil. The phrase perverse ideas is literally a twisted heart. In the Bible, the heart is the center of will and decision-making. A twisted heart is one that warps the truth for its own gain. It is the mindset of the serpent. David vows to perform heart surgery on himself, rejecting any thought pattern that twists God's straight truth. He asserts, I will know no evil. This doesn't mean ignorance of evil's existence. It means he will have no intimacy with it. He will not claim it as a friend. The third segment is the personnel policy of the kingdom. Psalm 101, verses 5 through 7. I will not tolerate people who slander their neighbors. I will not endure conceit and pride. I will search for faithful people to be my companions. Only those who are above reproach will be allowed to serve me. I will not allow deceivers to serve in my house, and liars will not stay in my presence. A king is only as good as his counselors. David now applies his standard of integrity to his administration. He lists the qualifications for working in the White House of Zion. First, the disqualifications. I will not tolerate people who slander their neighbors. I will not endure conceit and pride. Slander, secretly destroying a neighbor, destroys the community from the bottom up. Pride, conceit, destroys the community from the top down. Specifically, David mentions the haughty look, conceit, and the proud heart. In the divine council worldview, pride was the original sin of the rebel spiritual powers. It was the Nahash, the serpent, and the prince of Tyre, Ezekiel 28, whose heart became proud because of their beauty. Pride is the specific attribute of the anti-God forces. David says, I will not endure it. Literally, I cannot eat with it. He will not break bread with arrogance. If a courtier is proud, they are acting like the enemy of Yahweh, and they have no place in David's court. Next, the qualifications. I will search for faithful people to be my companions. Only those who are above reproach will be allowed to serve me. David's eyes are scanning the land, not for the rich, the famous, or the politically connected, but for the faithful, amuneh, from the same root as amen. He wants people who are steady, reliable, and true to the covenant. He wants those who walk in the way of integrity, the same blameless life David vowed in verse 2, to be his servants. He surrounds himself with people who reflect his own values. This is crucial wisdom. You become like the people you hire, and you become like the people you keep close. Verse 7 creates a no-liar zone. I will not allow deceivers to serve in my house, and liars will not stay in my presence. Deceit, remia, and lies, sheker, are incompatible with the God of truth. David knows that a government built on lies will eventually collapse because righteousness and justice are the foundation of God's throne, not spin and propaganda. The fourth segment is the king is judge, cleaning the city. Psalm 101, verse 8. My daily task will be to ferret out the wicked and free the city of the Lord from their grip. The psalm concludes with a picture of the king in action. This is the application of all the previous verses. My daily task will be to ferret out the wicked. The literal Hebrew says, morning by morning I will destroy the wicked of the land. To understand this, we need to visualize the ancient Israelite city gate. In the ancient world, the king or the elders would sit at the city gate in the cool of the morning to hear legal cases and render judgment. This was the supreme court of the land. By saying, morning by morning, David is committing to relentless daily diligence in the administration of justice. He is not just ruling from a distant palace. He is actively engaging in the work of judgment, mishpat. Just as God's mercies are new every morning, the king's justice must be fresh every morning. He is weeding the garden daily before the weeds take over. The goal of this harsh-sounding ferreting out or destroying is redemptive, and free the city of the Lord from their grip. David calls Jerusalem the city of the Lord, hear Yahweh. It is not David's city, it is Yahweh's city. It is the place where the divine council meets earth. It is the footstool of the Almighty. Therefore, it must be clean. The wicked, the agents of chaos and injustice, cannot be allowed to act with impunity in Yahweh's headquarters. David sees his role as the custodian of sacred space. By cutting off the wicked, he is preserving the sanctity of the city, so that the holy God of Psalm 99 can dwell there in peace. Psalm 101 challenges us deeply. While we may not be kings over a nation, we are all rulers over the little kingdom of our own lives, our homes, and our spheres of influence. David teaches us that integrity integrates. It connects our public worship, Psalm 100, with our private habits, Psalm 101. One look at your home. Are you leading with integrity within your own four walls where no one else sees? Look at your eyes. Are you setting vile things before them, entertaining the chaos that God hates? 3. Look at your inner circle. Are you tolerating pride and slander in your friendships or your workplace? Or are you surrounding yourself with the faithful? We cannot expect God to come to help us, verse 2, if we are making our lives comfortable for the things He hates. Let us take up the daily task of clearing the weeds from our own hearts, making them a suitable city for the Lord. If you found this podcast insightful, please subscribe and leave us a review. Then encourage your friends and family to join us and come along tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek Creating a Legacy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, mentor, and, most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through this Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. As we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you next time for more daily wisdom.